What is going on, Angels? The Champ Strider here, and I've got to put a decent amount of time into the new Chivalry 2 map, the sacking of Bridgetown, and we were all very excited to get some new content. It's been around 6 months, but does the map live up to the expectations? That's a subjective question, but I formed some strong opinions about it, and I think after the initial honeymoon period fades, what I say here today will ring true. Now, if you enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe for more medieval melee content. Now, it's no secret I just absolutely hate the last map put into the game, Thayic Stronghold, and I'm going to maybe revisit this a few times, but Thayic, it looked visually stunning. It's just a gorgeous map, and I feel like it was an honest attempt to make something great that just didn't really work out. Now, I don't want to be a negative Nancy here, but I find it hard to believe 6 months of development was spent on Bridgetown. There's just so many reasons why, but let me talk about the map just visually first. Now, you can go back to my Discord to see the truth of this, but the first time I played Bridgetown, I went into my Discord saying how I think my game was broken, and I was dead serious. Like, something visually went wrong on this map. It's just super desaturated. Like, someone used a Photoshop filter and just removed all the contrast. The sky is super blown out. It's like bright white. If you've ever seen someone take a photo on manual mode without knowing what they're doing and they just completely botch it, this is what the map looked like to me. To top it off, the intro video, it rarely worked for me, so I would just see kind of portions of the video with no characters or no voices, and textures would be loading in while it plays, which is it's pretty jarring when you see the texture for a wall pop on like 5 seconds after the wall's on screen. It's just weird. And even in game, this was a problem as textures, especially on trees, they would load in super late and like apples would appear when I got within a few feet of a tree. And just like the textures and leaves in general, they're just looking like blobs or something. They're just like, is no texture. And I've talked to some other creators and stuff while I was trying to figure out if my game was busted. And it's not, that's just the map. And I found it jarringly bad visually, and it was very hard for me to get past how bad the map looked. Like, it's just such a far step from my first time playing Aberfell or Galencourt or even Thayic Stronghold, where I was blown away visually. It even made it much more difficult to differentiate between friend and foe. I refuse to believe the map is supposed to be this washed out looking. Now, as far as the map plays, it can sometimes be hard to talk about balance at release because players, they've yet to figure out the best ways to complete objectives. And especially in this case, with a massive influx of new players, it can be difficult to advance past the first few stages. And while this might be because so many of them have no idea what they're doing, there is a really small amount of time for the attackers to accomplish their tasks, so you need a core of the team to just be laser focused on the objective. I think there's more to this than just the new players, though. I think the spawns for defense might need some movement or alterations, as it seems they sometimes spawn kind of right on top of where they need to be. So you wipe a group to go get a torch only for a fresh wave attempt to jump on you. I think the map will need a round of adjustments in the future. Now, while the first few stages are tough, probably the best part of the map is once you make it to the city, you're fighting on almost an extended bridge. It's pretty linear, but there are flanking routes and interesting areas to make it less of a pure meat grinder. Now, my favorite part of the map is that final part of the town where you get to toss nobles from a tavern, which that's just vintage Torn Banner, providing interesting and creative fun. It's kind of outside of the box gameplay that it can create so many memorable and just super interesting gaming moments. Unfortunately, this whole city attack into noble tossing, it ends rather quickly. I would say start to finish, this feels like the shortest map in the game by far, and you're left wishing there was just one final stage to keep the game going. Like, this can't be it. This can't be the end right here. Ultimately, this map release has me asking a lot of questions, like, was this actually a map that took 6 months of work? Because compared to maps like Lionspire or Foulmire, it just lacks the feeling of epicness, the polish, the detail, it's just not there. I find myself wondering if the developers changed map designers or personnel around, because making epic maps, it's what Torn Banner has always done best. I also wonder why there was no testing period. Like, did the developers know it was a half-effort map and they just didn't want to anger people before full release? We'll never get answers here, but I really want to make a push for why Torn Banner doesn't use their partner creators to run ideas by and gather feedback. They created a partner program with members of the community, but the program, it serves no real purpose. It just kind of exists. Myself or someone like Ziggy or Soder Dave, they could have in just one playthrough told them what would be problematic about the map and how the community will react to it. I don't want to sound ungrateful for new content or just be always bashing on the developers. Personally, I want nothing more than saying the patch is a 10 out of 10. And there are aspects of the patch I'm really excited for and I do like. Even parts of the map I enjoyed, like using the ridiculously busted sickle and tossing some nobles. But ultimately, I have to be honest and real, and the map, it feels like a rush, half-baked Chivalry experience that received very little external and maybe even internal testing. Now, this is my opinion. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Use the comment section. Champ out.